Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here. We're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Beth Durman, and I am the publisher of the Republic Monitor newspaper. Normally, I would be standing in front of about 150 people making this presentation, but sadly, due to the pandemic, the annual Chamber of Commerce dinner had to be canceled. However, that's not going to stop us from being able to honor our 2021 Citizen and Business of the Year. In addition to our winners, we do have a couple of special guests here with us this evening, and I'm pleased that our Chamber Executive Director, Jackie Weingert, did I say it right? Is able to join us, and our Economic Development Executive Director, Scott Sattler. It is now my pleasure to introduce the presenter of the Republic Monitor's Citizen of the Year, our new editor, Daniel Winningham. I'm so happy that he chose to move back to Perry County and join our small but highly dedicated and professional newspaper team. Daniel.
Welcome. Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman. Well, on some days. This year's recipient of the Citizen of the Year Award, Lonnie Johnson, is a fixture at several places: Perry County courtrooms, comic conventions, parades, children's hospitals, just to name a few. Volunteering and donating to charitable causes has come naturally to him. A few years ago, he began Heroes for Kids, though his days as a true superhero began long before his time in Superman's famous blue tights and red cape. The concept for it started in 2014 because of my kids, Johnson said. We were in Metropolis at the Superman celebration, and my kids thought it would be neat for Dad to dress up as Superman for the next year's event. My wife and I looked into renting a costume, but after seeing the prices, decided it would be cheaper to just go ahead and purchase one. After getting his outfit, he thought, well, we already do a lot of stuff for charity, why don't we try to incorporate the Superman into the charity events? When not decked out in his Superman garb, Johnson is on a mission to protect and serve. I originally wanted to go into the military, he said, but due to health reasons, I wasn't allowed to enlist. The events of 9/11 prompted him to get involved in law enforcement. Quote, if I couldn't do something for my country, I wanted to do something to help the community. Johnson began working at the Perry County Sheriff's Office in 2001. First as a jailer, now he spends the majority of his time in the courtroom as a bailiff. He also assists with transports and calls as needed. Why Superman, you may ask? Well, he says, Superman has always been one of my favorite comic book characters. In the law enforcement connection, his father was a police officer in St. Louis. He says, my outlook on cops growing up was that they are the real superheroes. And my dad liked Superman, so it was one of those things that just carried over to me. Heroes for Kids serves as Johnson's way of paying it forward. He says, the word hero is not just someone wearing a cape, it's anybody that you look up to. Doctors, school teachers, first responders, law enforcement, firefighters, military. Those are the heroes we want the kids to realize are the real heroes. Much like every charitable organization, the COVID-19 pandemic proved to be a challenging aspect for Johnson and his group. The pandemic did hit us pretty hard, Johnson said. We were used to traveling almost every weekend. In 2019, it was almost every weekend doing something. 2020 cut everything down, so much so that he did fewer than a dozen events. His signature event was canceled. However, the organization is optimistic about its return this year. The Heroes for Kids Comic Con is scheduled for Saturday, July 17th at the Perry Park Center. In his cosplaying time, Superman can often be found with Batman, Dennis Manning, when in costume. Lonnie, his wife Jessica, and Dennis are the directors for Heroes for Kids. Johnson first met Manning at the Cape Comic Con in 2015. Manning, appearing as Captain America that day, was a big fan of Johnson's Superman costume. Later, they found out they were both from Perryville. For Johnson, bringing a smile to someone's face, no matter what their age, is always a good thing. I have 3 things I am passionate about: law enforcement, my family, and Heroes for Kids. The 2021 Citizen of the Year, Lonnie Johnson.
Shocked, honored. I don't know how to really put it into words, honestly. Again, first off, I want to say thank God for letting me be able to do what I do. Thank you, Sheriff, for hiring me at the Sheriff's Office. Almost 20 years. 20 years this September. With the Perry County Sheriff's Office, and one man that actually helped me out a lot, sleeping in his car most of the time, going through the academy. Andy, definitely thank you. Without you, I wouldn't be here, doing what I love doing, following my dad's dream and also mine. Like they said in the opening speech, I met Dennis a couple years back with Heroes at the Cape Comic Con, and being able to meet him, telling him that, hey, this is what I'm looking at doing in the Perryville area. I've always done stuff for charities, and Dennis was in that right there, right time, right place. He says, I can help you get boots on the ground. I know what I'm doing. I said, please come along. Everybody else that is here, came along and helped out. We're all volunteers, as without my wife backing me, without Dennis backing me, the sheriff, and then everybody else in my group. You guys are the reasons why Heroes for Kids has lasted 6 years. The community being able to bring us all together and being able to come out and do the community events, raising money for the different charities and different organizations we get to help. Again, without the community here, again, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. Right now, Heroes for Kids travels 5 states, and we're looking at hopefully branching out even farther. Again, I can't express my gratitude for everybody that's helped me bring this dream alive. And I would also like to bring up my crew, because again, this isn't just mine, this is you guys's. So Jess, Andy, Dennis, Chelsea, Mom, please come up. Lendl, Mona, please come up here. Yes, Andy, you too. Sheriff. Thank you. Sorry.
No, she's
Oh, okay. I guess I'm getting over here. Okay. Again, like I said, this is just as much theirs as it is mine. And again, I want to thank everybody.
Well, good evening again, and congratulations to Lonnie Johnson on this very well-deserved honor. Perry County and Perryville have seen a lot of growth over the years, and the recipient of the 2021 Business of the Year Award has been a part of that growth for more than 30 years. That growth began back in 1986. Choosing Perryville as their first location was due to several factors. One being the very nice reception they felt at the initial stage of selection of the plant site, and the warm reception of officials and people in Perryville. All of this was according to the U.S. Project General Manager Minoru Kobashi. The first plant has seen continued growth since the first employees were hired in February 1987. Their grand opening was held on May 1st of 1987, and the company's combined vision to employ the most advanced technological methods available, using automation to assist in the making of automotive products, to employ citizens in the area with their strong work ethic. This 33-year journey, now under the leadership of President Dean Link, forms the cutting-edge company that is TG Missouri. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, TG was shut down for approximately 6 weeks beginning at the end of March. The service line, which has approximately 60 employees, was the only exception to this shutdown. During that downtime, management met weekly and created a 59-page document on the protocols to reopen the plant. As the parent plant in North America, the COVID-19 protocol was shared with all of their plants. Fred Ducharme, Vice President of Administration, explained, "Incorporating these protocols was quite an undertaking. We had to provide distance for 1,700 plus employees, install sanitizing stations, procure enough sanitizer spray canisters, and keep everyone safe. More than 2,500 bottles of spray sanitizers were purchased to get the plant back open. Protocols were put in place for the 42 restrooms and the spacing of workstations. The lunchroom went from a full-service lunchroom to a fresh market. And it's all self-service. All purchased items are paid for by the employee's phone with an app. During this shutdown, TG took care of their employees by making sure they still had their full health insurance. Original thoughts were, when they opened back up in May, that things would essentially be slow. But that's not what happened. TG ramped up so fast and has stayed ramped up ever since. The majority of their workforce returned in May and June of 2020. Around August, management discovered that more people were needed to keep their productivity at the level it needed to be. They determined they needed 160 new employees. TG experiences very little turnover of their employees. At 2 years, only 1.4% turnover rate is experienced. At the 4-year mark, it's almost non-existent. And generally, once an employee has reached 5 years, they stay. TG is proud of their 5 inaugural employees still working since the start of business back in 1987. And TG has approximately 70 employees with over 30 years tenure. The management staff are all senior employees themselves with 20 years or more at the Perryville plant. The success of long-term and legacy employees can be attributed to many factors: dedication to their employees, benefits, and competitive pay. The company is also mindful of taking too many employees from other Perry County employers. So the amount of employees moving from one single local company is limited. They believe it doesn't serve the community if it hurts other local companies. TG has a highly functioning manufacturing philosophy. just-in-time manufacturing. The Perryville plant has been so successful with that management, oversees 3 other TG plants to help them successfully implement the program as well. Customers to TG order their product and it is delivered in 1 to 2 days. What makes this so remarkable is there is typically less than 6 hours of inventory in the plant. Once the orders come in, production begins, and this puts a demand on the workforce. It can be difficult at times, but the team members consistently meet these requirements. On any given day, you can see 100 to 120 tractor trailers pulling out of the shipping warehouse. That is a lot of product moving in a very short time. Part of this continued growth of TG is the 70,000 square foot building is now operational. January, the first of 3 paint booths began production. The second is ordered, and the third is waiting for approval. The demand is now for specialty exterior paints, which has replaced the demand of additional floor space for the chrome department. TG is seeing a trend in their business, turning from interior products to exterior products, grills, fascia, etc. The trend towards this new specialty paint is the reason for these new 3 paint booths. Toyota is still their largest customer, with Honda their second largest. Both of these customers will be making use of this new specialty paint. The philosophy from Toyota Gosai Charter is community involvement. They want their plants to be involved heavily with their community, both through supporting local business and through volunteerism. A lot of volunteer projects originate from their own employees, and there are programs in place which requests can be made to the company. They also have programs that are initiated from the top, like the 5K trail that was constructed for their 30th anniversary. TG works to keep their employees involved in the community, whether it be a structured entity like the Chamber of Commerce or a fundraiser for an individual. They have started a new pilot program called Succession Planning. TG has taken 11 employees who are on the right path to move into managing the company and has them on an accelerated learning program. There are senior management personnel that are getting ready to retire, and this plan will prepare these individuals to step in and take over. TG has set a goal to have this succession program set up for all of their activities. This succession program is good for our community as well. Perryville is looking forward to the next 30 years of being home to TG, Missouri. And I present to you your 2021 Business of the Year, TG, Missouri. Would you please step up? There you go. Say congratulations.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome.
Well, thank you, Barb. That was quite the introduction. I think Barb might know a little bit more about TG than I do, actually, after listening to that. I think 2021 Business of the Year is probably has a unique meaning for TG, Missouri, when you consider the circumstances and the events of the last year with the COVID pandemic and all the economic upheaval we've had. I think Barb outlined some of the things that happened. Despite all of that, we've actually had quite successful year, and that's only due to the hard effort and the work of our employees here. I think all of you probably, maybe there's even some employees here, I'm not sure, but it's hard to tell from the mask. Thank you. All of you know, or maybe are related to someone that works at TG or has worked there, and we're very fortunate to have a really strong team, dedicated, and they're engaged in their work and loyal. As Barb mentioned, I travel to 3 other plants that we run, and there's really just no comparison in the work ethic of the people in those other cities compared to Perryville. So we're very fortunate from that standpoint. And they've gone through, and we've gone through a lot. Like all of you, they had to learn to live in a totally new environment this year with the COVID pandemic. You know, they had, as you mentioned, we had to lay people off, unfortunately, and there's quite a bit of financial hardship involved on them. Y'all and they all had uncertainty of what was going to happen in the future, and concern for the health risk of both themselves and their families. So it's a tough way to go. As they outlined earlier, when we finally did return to work in, I'm going to say late June of last year, our customer demand was much higher than anyone ever thought would imagine or forecast. And so it's quite difficult to meet the shipment requirements to all of our customers. You compound that with the fact that we had quite a bit of absenteeism from people infected with the COVID or quarantine, which was understandable and necessary. And we had a lot of, and still to this day, a lot of interruptions and supply stoppages from our supplier. So it led to a lot of sudden schedule changes for our employees, a lot of overtime this past year. But I'm happy to say we've had a very successful result, and our customers have been more than satisfied, which bodes well for them in our future. So in conclusion, I'd just like to say, on behalf of our employees, I want to accept this award. And now Fred and Jamie, if you'd like to come up here with me. Get right here, you want to hold it?
Okay, one other one, I got to do it. Okay, we'll see what we all look like.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
I'd like to thank everyone for being here this evening. There's beverages and snacks, little sandwiches, fruit, Heckley cookies in the back room there. Please help yourself. Thank you.